G'day guys, welcome back. My name is Wildcard. Finally, Beauden Barrett is back. He's only had one game off the bench in the last 5 weeks, 6 rounds. And this is the first time he's back in 2022 playing at number 10 in the starting spot. I've been wanting to see him play for quite a while now. He has been out due to a concussion earlier in the season, and then he was out last couple of weeks due to COVID. So finally, he's on the field. And we're going to go through and we're going to rate his performance today from every aspect of the game that he was on the field for. So, first up, Beauden Barrett's goal kicking. New Zealand Rugby saved again. He kicked 3 out of the 4 goals. And the one that he missed was from the sideline. I thought he mismanaged this kick a little bit. His rhythm looked a little bit off. Like, he took a little bit quicker to kick this one than the previous few kicks. So, usually a good kicker has a good rhythm to take the same amount of time. Every kick, it's like a process that I go through. For some reason, for this kick, it looked like he rushed it, despite the fact that this was on the halftime. So, literally 5 seconds away from halftime. And he kicked it just before the halftime siren went off. So, there was a kickoff just before halftime, which is something that you really don't want to, because you're giving the opposition a chance to score. Essentially, just before halftime, clock runs out. So, he could have waited an extra, 3 seconds or 4 seconds, and the clock would have gone red, and the game would have finished after the kick. But for some reason, not only that he rushed it, but he misjudged the clock here. So after the kick, after he missed his kick, there was a kickoff despite the siren going off just after, literally as soon as he kicked it, the siren went off. So there was still, a kickoff for the Highlanders to play. Something that's a bit mismanaged by Beauden. For an international player, should have managed this a little bit better. So overall, his goal kicking. Now this is the most difficult kicking from the sideline, and the other ones are pretty easy and straightforward. Pretty much all running from. So I would say 6.5 for his goal kicking. Still needs to show more consistency, especially from the sideline. That's something that he struggled a lot in recent times. Number 2, his organization around the field, his communication with his players seems a little bit, I guess, the leadership seems a bit lacking in this game. I'm not sure if just the way I see it, or if it's actually looking lacking. You look like, to me, he's playing around his attack lines. Instead of organizing the attack line to play around him, he's playing around the attacking lineup that his team is kind of putting out. Maybe because he's been out of the team for so long, so he's kind of just easing himself into the environment. But it looked like to me that he was playing according to his team instead of taking the leadership to organize his team around him. So a lot of times you see him expecting the ball and not expecting the ball, and he wasn't even sure where he's supposed to be on the field at times. There was one time where he scored a try, where he was put on the wing where Caleb Clark is. So it was really weird to see that. That's an indicator to say that they had a set move for the Blues, and he wasn't really supposed to be involved in the move, so they put him on the wing, having Caleb Clark in the open field. But ironically, they won the blind side, gave him the ball, and he scored a try. So yeah, that kind of indicated to me that he's kind of out of the loop a little bit for the team. So overall, I give his organization, his communication, a 4 out of 10. Handling, his handling was, I thought, a little bit rough this game at times. 2 balls where he passed to his teammates was just too hard. There was a short ball to one of his props through a gap. Could have been an easy breach. Might have been a try there. They just popped it too hard to his prop and just bounced off his ball receiver's chest. And there was another one to Talea on the wing as well. Looked like he may have thrown a bit too hard. Talea couldn't, just again bounced off his chest. Not able to catch that, but that could be Talea's fault. So 2 hard passes. Handling maybe a little bit too rough there. So I give this one a 6 out of 10 for Beauden. The running game for Beauden, he did able to take the ball for a few runs. He was able to actually create some space when he took the run, so it did look good, but he wasn't able to link up with his team. Again, this could just be because he's just brought back into the team. He's not really communicating that well. So he wasn't, despite the fact that he was able to go forward to get over the advantage line, but he wasn't able to link up. So for me, this was a 6.5 for Beauden, his running game. So his decision making overall, was like a 5 out of 10 for me, to be honest. At times, I thought he should have utilized his forwards a bit. He kind of taken the ball and ran it himself. At times, I thought he should have held on to the ball and he kicked it. So yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at 6 out of 10. His kicking game, on the other hand, was, I'll break down the two parts. One is general kicking. So in a lot of positions, he was on a fullback. So in terms of like the long return kicks, this one I had him at about a 7 out of 10 for the fullback kicks, because these kicks, I thought he could have put them in a better angle. A lot of these kicks, a couple of these kicks he did was just kind of straight down the field and gave the Highlanders a lot of space to work with. So not really clinical. Something he should have known better, not to kick the ball straight down center of the field. His kicking game for attacking, options, like short kicks, high balls, I thought this was excellent. This was like a 9.5 out of 10 for me. So he was able to, clearly had a strategy where he was able to want to kick targeting the 22-meter line, short kicks around the 22-meter line to put pressure on the Highlanders catches just outside of the 22. He's able to land this quite accurately on the 22-meter line again and again and again from both sides of the fields, and he was able to make these decisions at the right times. And so yeah, it was really putting a lot of pressure on Highlanders with his kicks. I thought they were like really, really good, really, really accurate. So that gets a 9.5 out of 10 for me. He had one work at the breakdown. He was absolutely clueless. He didn't even go over the ball. He just like ran over he just ran through the breakdown, and then the Highlanders turned the ball over. So breakdown work, Beauden, 0 out of 10. And then he's finally, obviously, the defense. I thought his defense was, he had a few positions that he was playing with in this game. So I've noticed once again, maybe this is something that they've been doing for him for. I don't think I've remember doing this. They do this for him in the All Blacks. I know they do this for Richie Mo'unga in the All Blacks, and they do this for Richie Mo'unga at the Crusaders, where they put the number 10 at wing position. So a lot of times he was defending at the wing, which is kind of like easy job for him. And then also, obviously, he's at a fullback position whenever it's as a second fullback, whenever it's a kind of kicking going on. So he really didn't have to front out to make those tackles too much. But the one time he did have to be in the defensive line in the second half, he was not at the 10 position, because maybe they were expecting the big players to flood the 10 channel. So he was actually at inside center at 12 position. And then the Highlanders inside center gets the ball and ran straight at him. And he managed to smack his own head on the hip of the outside center of the Highlander player. Like, it looked pretty bad. It looked like he knocked himself out. And he gets up and he was literally bleeding out of his nose. We know he's had concussion issues. That's why he couldn't play earlier this season. So, yeah, knocking himself out in that tackle, I thought that's a 0 out of 10. I mean, that was... Yeah, I don't know, like, I think that was a technique issue. Like, he shouldn't have been... Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything too crazy of a tackle, pretty standard stuff. And he managed to, like, put his own face into this player's hip. I mean, it's really hard to say, like, what this sort of things, whether it's his tackling technique or whether it's... Yeah, it could be a variety of things, but the fact that he knocked himself out, yeah, I can't really give him more than that. I thought that was really poor. Like putting himself out in a position where he got concussed, could have been concussed again. So overall score, this was a 10 out of 10 performance by Beauden Barrett. Obviously, great news if he had injured himself once again for the Wallabies. Huge loss for the All Blacks. It's always a huge win for the Wallabies. And 10 out of 10 performance overall for Beauden Barrett for his first starting 10 in 2022. Now, next up, let's talk about the game. This game was a beautiful game in the afternoon sun in Dunedin. This looked like a lot of fun. They had a zoo back. They had crowd back. There was absolutely beautiful to watch the game in the afternoon sun, beaming into the stadium. It was it was amazing sceneries on the field. I do have to say, so the Highlander jerseys, the color is looking really off from their traditional blue and yellow. Like all the fans were wearing like blue and yellow, and the Highland jerseys were wearing like this really dark blue to the point where it looks almost like the Chiefs jersey. I thought, yeah, so maybe someone in the marketing team have to fix that up a bit. I thought I looked too much like the blue that was too dark. The blue was too dark. It looked too much like the Chiefs jersey. To be really frank, there was the performance from the Highlanders was. Again, I thought this was a really weird game actually. Both teams has really good like kind of defense throughout, but like every now and then there's just like one slip up and somebody will score. Aaron Smith had a cracking game this game. He was like fired up, going at 120 miles an hour through the entire game. And yeah, I thought I was really entertaining to watch Aaron Smith. He made this one really good kick downfield. I was like, yes, that's a good kick, Aaron. And then one of the Highlanders players followed up. Caught the ball for a try, and then that try was disallowed. But overall, I thought Aaron Smith made really good decisions, really quick decisions, and yeah. But the Highlanders' overall team cohesion, just little things they do around the field, seems to be a little bit off, and as a result, the Blues were able to just exploit some of those like slips, I guess you call it, the little like mental lapse, I guess, on the field to get themselves ahead and winning this game. So overall, 4 tries to the Blues, 3 tries to the Highlanders. It was quite close. It was looking like Blues could have been choking. Again, they was kind of like winning for most of the game. The halftime score was 18 points to 6. So Blues were like easily in control. But second half, everybody worries. If you're a Blues fan, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody's worrying about the choking. I thought the Highlanders could have put up an upset, but yeah, the Blues were able to close themselves out. Like I said, that little bit of just mental, I guess, like I said, like the mental, like fatigue from the Highlanders led the Blues back into the game when they were catching up slowly in the second half. So overall, 393 run meters for the Blues, 376 run meters for the Highlanders. Turnovers, 11 Highlanders, 12 for the Blues. Defense, 73 tackles for Highlanders, 22 missed tackles out of 73. That's pretty poor. The Blues, 121 tackles made, 14 tackles missed, which is much better tackle completion rate. Kicks in play, 17 to the Highlanders, 19 to the Blues. Beauden Barrett missed 1 kick. What's his name? Hunt missed 2, and then finally the penalty count, 6 for the Highlanders, 8 for the Blues. Pretty low for both teams. And yeah, overall this was a pretty even game, I would say. In the 4-pack, the scrummaging was pretty even. The lineouts were pretty even as well. I think the Blues had 1 penalty in this. Highlanders actually had 1. May have 1 penalty against the Blues turnover, but other than that, in the scrummaging, other than that, it's pretty even overall. Quite entertaining the game. Really disappointed to see Beauden gets his head hurt. I tuned into this game to watch Beauden, and I really hope that he doesn't, retire or anything like that, But yeah, sorry, this was hope we can just keep, hoping for the best. Point summary, the Blues came out quite easily at the start. Caleb Clark gets the try on the board 9 minutes of the game. Blues was in control. He gets the ball on the wing, just cut himself back inside. A bunch of missed tackles from the Highlanders. Easy try right under the stick. It was like one of those, like I said, it's kind of like a theme in this game. He gets the ball. You look like he was covered. Just ran through a bunch of defenders, bunch of missed tackles. Goes in for the first try. The second try for the Blues was just before halftime. Beauden Barrett, again, this is what we're talking about. They had like a scrum inside the Highlanders 22. And then Beauden Barrett was at a 10 position. And then just before they were about to pack the scrum, they swapped Beauden to the wing, to the blindside wing, and put Caleb's Cup out in the open side. So he was almost looking like they had a set move that Beauden was not supposed to be, not sure what was happening. So they're just like, okay, you go stand in the wing. We sort out this move that we're going to do in the open field. But the ball kind of came out. It was like disrupted by Aaron Smith, or they couldn't get the ball out to do what they were doing. So the ball just went to the blind side. They kind of shift the ball out to the blind side due to the disruption. Beauden gets the ball, just running down the sideline on the blind side. The Highlanders winger was there, but he just completely like misjudged like the distance from where he was standing and where Beauden was. He gave him way too much space out wide. Beauden just runs in for the try. Looked quite easy, and big smile from Beauden's face in this one. And then it took till the second half for the Highlanders to finally get their first try. They came out the second half really like firing. Beauden gets taken off the field 1 minute into the second half. Like I said, he knocked himself out. It looked like he hurt himself quite badly. He was bleeding out of his nose. It was looking really, really horrendous, actually. And then Highlanders, Aaron Smith was really like picked up the energy in the second half as well. And the Highlanders was kind of like beating the Blues try line for a little bit, and they kind of missed a couple opportunities to score just because they couldn't, like literally they had players out open, and just one more pass would probably scored, and they were not able to get the pass free, and then then they get turned over twice inside the Blues 22. This was really painful. Eventually the Blues had a 10-meter line out from outside of their own try line, and the Zoo started singing, and the Highlanders turned the ball over. And then as soon as they turn the ball over, they turn back into the attack, and Gilbert crashes in for the first try for the Highlanders, and it was just easy as that. Finally, the Highlanders gets a try on the board, and then the Blues hit back a few minutes later. Again, this is one of those balls where it's almost like shouldn't have happened. Hoskins Sotutu gets the ball in center field, right? It looked like he was going to pass. It looked like he was covered. He just took an inside step, cuts back in. Mitchell Hunt, I think Aaron Smith might have been there as well. A bunch of players was on him. He just shrugged off everyone, runs straight through, plants the ball down middle of the underneath the goalpost. It was just I don't know what's happening in the defense. He looked like he was covered, and then immediately, he just shrugged off a bunch of defenders and then scores under the sticks. So I think like I said, it looked like the Highlanders mentally just took a nap, and then Hoskins Sotutu runs free. Highlanders fall back immediately almost. Landon Brown gets a try on the board at 58th minute. The big prop, loose air prop number 1. This was the prop, not Anton Landon Brown, he's not playing. The loose air prop gets himself, again, he looked like he was playing center field. It looked like Anton Landon Brown. He gets the ball, and it's just suddenly the Blues defense had a massive gap opened up in the open in midfield. He just runs through the defensive line, the gap, plants the ball down for a try, and then immediately the Blues hits back with Profeta on the 65th minute. Basically, he was the Beauden Barrett replacement. He what was happening here? Again, Sotutu was able to get through with being what do you call it? Being able to get through, and then Profeta finished off the try at 65th minute, and finally the what do you call it? And then just before this try was scored, the Highlanders had like I said, Aaron Smith did a really good kick down the field. It was looking like he could have been 50-22, but the ball bounced in the field. One of the Highlanders winger gets there, catches the infield bounce, gets through, just runs through, plants the ball down. But the TMO had a review. There was a knock on ages ago earlier in the game, and the try was disallowed. So then this Profeta try kind of really hurt Highlanders quite a bit. 69th minute, Highlanders gets himself back in front of the Zoo, gets himself rolling again, and managed to score a try with Gilbert once again. This was a try again. There was some really nice running. Gregory gets the ball in center field. He runs through the gap, and then he gets absolutely drilled from behind. But then there was just too much momentum going forward. Highlanders quickly recycles the ball. Gilbert eventually gets the ball, just rolls through the defensive line. Talea was there to defend him, just completely missed the tackle. Highlanders gets himself back within one try reach, and finally the Blues had to hold off one try off advantage for the last 10 minutes, and everybody's wondering if they're going to fall off, but no, the Blues were able to hold on. Highlanders finished the game just short, one try short, 25 points to 33, and that was the end of the game. So yeah, I thought the referee was pretty good this game, much better than the Aussie referees. He managed the game time really well. There was he was just getting, making sure that teams are not taking water breaks on the field, which is something that I thought Michael Fraser did really well to manage that, getting the waters off the field. As soon as there's a kind of break, he tries to get the game back started as quickly as possible. Unlike the Super Rugby games, you see people getting massages and stuff in the middle of the field. I thought it was really bad. But this was, it was really good management by Michael Fraser. 2 thumbs up for me for the referee. And beautiful day. I was wondering maybe I should do a degree at Otago University. Looked like a lot of fun there at live in the field. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this game, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, yada, 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 all that sort of jazz. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Cheers.